All right, there we go. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee. And first off, before we do anything else, I want to do the file folder fodder segment. This is week 4. And week 4 is places. And this is here for camera focus purposes. Um, week 4 is places. Now, I want to distinguish this between places and travel because I'll give you a heads up, there will be a travel section later. And that will involve a folder to specific places you might have traveled. It doesn't have to be. It can be anything you want. Any of these can be anything you want. But I'm designating this one differently than traveling. Like, you took a trip to Paris and you want to do a whole folder on just, your trip to Paris. You could do a travel Paris. And again, I want to, say again that any of these you can make them your own. You can make more than just the ones I'm giving you. And I use the example of holidays because that's an easy example. I'm not going to be doing one on holidays, but if you do a lot of fall things, if you do Halloween, if you do Christmas, celebrations, you can do one of these on every holiday that you want. And that's just hey, Julie, that's just some examples. These 12 weeks are examples of what you can do to collect your file folder, fodder, and memorabilia, ephemera. It could be anything you want. Zandra made an awesome one where she made a mini book and just used the file folder in a section of her mini book. So you can there's multiple ways that you can use file folders. Let me allow links. Maybe Zandra can put her show in there from last night where she showed her book. So distinguishing this from travel and going on different trips to, wherever you vacation or travel to. This one is more geared towards specific places, like a museum, for instance. This is just a little flyer from the Dolly Museum in St. Pete, Florida that we went to a couple years ago. I'm just using that, clip that here for a little, example. The other thing is I'm not overly decorating mine. I'm really just stamping the main points and a little bit of, little bit of decoration, but not much. So Packer Dye has been doing the decorating on hers, and she's showing, some weeks she's showing videos, some weeks she's just showing pictures. It's totally up to her how she wants to, just do one here or there so that y'all can see how you can decorate. So Packer Dye is doing decorating as she can. She's very busy, small children and all that. And so just whenever she can, sometimes she'll do a stream, sometimes she'll post pictures. So we appreciate any samples that Packer Dye can do for us. Yeah, we did too. We love the museum. And I'm going to go back over some of the things that you can wrap your little bundles in. All right, so first off, let me open this up. And I wanted to say again before I start going through this, and I just used a piece of lace because that might be someplace you would go. You might go to a specific shop that carries lace. I just liked it. I put that on the cover or wrapped it up. You could just put rubber bands, whatever. But I wanted to say again the different ways you can wrap up your little bundles. You can do it in deli paper, maps, tissue paper, book pages, parchment, magazine papers, vellum, wax paper, paper bags, little decorative candy bags, the clear bags, the little baggies, like I put my stamps in the little small baggies. You can wrap it up in fabrics, napkins. You can use stickers. You can stamp, use newspaper, magazines, anything like that to either wrap up your little bundle, separate them, or just, a magazine article on a museum that you visit. You might come across a museum article to your local museum. So there's really no rules as far as what you can or can't put in your little bundles. And it doesn't just have to be craft supplies. And actually, I'd rather, you know, it's better if it's not B. Although I do find a few stickers and things like that that are themed that I do add to my folders. All right, so again, on the inside, this is how I have them divided up. It's just a suggestion. You don't have to put them in this order. You can substitute other things, but this is how I have it. Things I've made, things I find, things I have, and things to give or to share or that have been given to me. So I just called that give, but it's any kind of share. And I have a little new thing here in this particular one with the art drop. I'm not any kind of, I'm in a couple of, like the art abandonment on Facebook. There's some different ones where you can leave little bits of your art around, and then you can put not the website, but the group's email, so you don't have to put your personal email and leave it out there. You can put the art abandonment and all that kind of thing, so that people that do find your art drop can, if they want, can say, oh, I'm the one that found that. And sometimes you just never know. But I have some suggestions on that. Okay, so let's see here. Anybody have any? If you don't have any questions, put them in caps. I'm going to record this segment separately from the rest of the day. And as y'all know, I stream pretty much every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm Coffee and Art in the Morning. I forgot to tweet it. Well, y'all know I'm here on Mondays. And I'm Inky Well, INKIWELL, on Twitter and Instagram, and Dee Dee Willingham on Facebook and YouTube. And I do upload these videos to YouTube. It's a live show on Ustream, and there's always a link in my description of YouTube for Ustream. There's always a link there from where it was recorded, and it's a live chat with live people. Most of them. Some are sleeping, but most of them are live. And so, and I try to answer questions as they come through, as people put them in caps. Otherwise, the chat's just rolling along, people talking. We'd love to have you visit. If you're just watching the recording, feel free to come over and visit. It's a great community. Okay, Packer Die. All right, so let me kind of go through some of the ones that I did for this week in places. Again, if you want to combine, you know, places and travel, or the things like I'm putting in here for places in your individual travel, like I said, if you went to the beach or Paris or wherever you went on vacation or travel, whether it be for work or vacation or whatever, and make one, you could combine this kind of idea also in that travel one. All right, so first off, under make. And I did use some stamps. I'm not, like I said, I'm not over decorating. I did use a few little places, stamps on here. But in the make, I have business cards, just because this is just a thing for, well, you don't even have to put it under make. You can put it anywhere. But when you're at a place, whether it be a store, and I do have a list here of places that you could use for collecting this, or make individual folders for places, depending on how long you spent there. And, you know, if you went to some kind of a convention, you might want to, you know, gather up everything that has to do with a convention. But just having a little envelope for business cards wherever, any place that you visit, whether it be your local Starbucks or a craft store or a restaurant, you know, it's just a way to remember that place. Most of us don't carry business cards around. Some people still have, you know, a business card thing on their desk, but, you know, it's just a place to keep them. Space. If you visited there, Carrie, yes. Okay, then I had this little, this was just a little notepad that I've used all the paper out of, but it works for just a little paper clipped little thing where I did this places to see. Again, you can combine travel and this idea, or keep them separate like I'm doing here. But like, for instance, I have a little Statue of Liberty sticker. different places in the USA. Here's a little Europe one. I'm just using this as an example. If you want to make a little folder for places to see. In other words, things that you would like to go visit. Okay. I also did some little bucket list tags. So this might be a way, if you have a bucket list of places that you want to go, and you, again, you can say Paris on one of these, but I was trying to be more specific, the places within your travel that this holds. So for instance, if there's some historical places you want to go, make a little tag, and then here on the back you could write all those historical places that you would want to go. So these are just little bucket list tags that I made. Churches and temples, or any kind of places like that. Coffee shops, restaurants, food, any kind of stores or shops that you really would like to visit. Like my mom comes to mind. When she went to England, she wanted to go to the who makes those little bunnies, the little fairy tale, not oh good grief, it was just on the tip of my tongue. She wanted to visit the shop in I think it's in London, where she made the little oh, the little bunny characters. Somebody help me out here. Now somebody will know what I'm talking about. Just totally slipped my mind. Anyway, she collected the little figurines. The bunny, the frog, Miss So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so. Beatrix Potter. Thank you, Sandra. Beatrix Potter. She visited the store, the Beatrix Potter store in UK. I don't remember where it was, but so that might be on your bucket list of a store to visit, okay, or a shop. Famous buildings you might want to visit, museums. Anyway, that's just a handful of the kind of tags you could make. So you could make bucket list tags of places you want to visit and then list them on the back. Okay, so I made those. And then here's things that I found. Okay, like for instance, if you go to at the High Museum, I would consider picking up a brochure, something I found. I didn't literally find it on the street. I found it in the museum. It was the brochure for the Andy Warhol exhibit. So, and I just have a little paper clip on here. So any other things that you find from like the museum or whatever, if you were doing something one on like recipes or food, you might put recipe cards you found at the grocery store. So there's just lots of different ways you can sort this according to how you visualize it. It doesn't have to be my way, okay? All right, so list. Again, this is a list of places. You can make your own place. You can divide it up much more thematically than I've done here. I just made a quick list of places for a sample so that y'all would know kind of like the idea. Okay, I'm giving you ideas and inspiration. Okay, so some of the list of places. Again, I'm going to repeat some of the ones I used on the tags, but I'm going to keep reading them. Historical sites, museums, churches, temples, or spiritual sites. I mean, that can include, visiting the Mayan ruins, whatever it is to you. Buildings, food, coffee, restaurants. Stores or shops, like specialties, like candy shops, stationery, toys, books, museum, a clock shop, whatever your thing is, where you go to different shops, that would be, one of the places. Parks or botanical gardens, famous streets, conventions, sports events, and the locations of the sport. If you're a big football fan, you travel all over the place, going to football events, keep a list of all the stadiums that you visited. And now this right here, this partial list here that I did, I made a note that it could be included in your travel later when we do a travel folder, and which can be broken out by individual places or tours. Okay, so if you want to put some of this, could be designated to a travel folder as opposed to places. But you might visit forests, oceans, if you've visited all the oceans, states, cities, countries, beaches, famous houses or castles or ruins. Okay, the purpose of this is to list, like you would have, for instance, just one page for all the restaurants. Okay, one page for all the famous buildings. You can make this however you want, but you could have a little book of all the different places that you have visited in that category. Libraries or bookstores, vineyards, ships and docks. If you're, whatever hobby you are, there's a place for you. Lighthouses, zoos or animal habitats. So that's just a few of the ideas. And whether or not you even do a whole folder, I would suggest, and there's books out there called lists books. I don't have any. I've had a couple, but I've given them away. Where they're books of lists where you list all kinds of things, whether it's places you've gone, restaurants, whatever. There's a list for everything. But what that does is not only does it just bring back the memories of the place that you visited or traveled to, it will give you ideas in your art, your writing, your creativity. If you write things down, and y'all know I'm big on writing things down. If you don't write it down, it doesn't count. Like Carrie always says, if I don't see a picture of where you've been, it doesn't count. I'll never forget when Carrie said that one time. All right, then have. Okay, so in the have, I have some little stickers from different places. I wanted to show you this, that I cut down one of the baseball sleeves. I cut down one of the, they usually have 3, 3, and 3, and we use them for artist trading cards. It's the same, 3-hole punch, goes in a notebook, artist trading card, baseball card, sleeve. I just cut the one side off so that I could fold it up and have it fit in the folder. So, even if you just use this particular idea for other projects, these are just some places that I stuck some stickers in there. I had like lighthouses, famous building, churches, golf courses. If you're whatever hobby you are, you go places that constitute your hobby. Lister's got a list. That's one of them. That's one of the names of the. I think that's a group, not a book, right? Julie, I think Lister's Got a List is a group. If you just Google it, you'll find it. And I miss saying hi Dana and Barb DeBarkin. Hey Bridgeton. I see names being thrown out there, but I don't know what they were. I just saw them in caps, but I didn't see what the reference was. So anyway, this is just another way for you to keep some of your information. Business cards will fit in here. If you don't want to do, a little full envelope, you could put them in like this, but they fold up nicely and you can put that in there. Then finally, under the give, I have here some postcards that I just recently got from Gilly Nell. So I put these in here. I did have her name in here somewhere. Where did I put her little name of who gave it to me? So she had sent me this brochure on, I think it was MoMA. Was it MoMA? I forget what museum. National Gallery of Art. So she had sent me this brochure on that, and one of these little bags, which again can be used for other things. I have my stamps here of places. So it would keep your little postage stamps that you get on your mail, and you can divide them up if you want to keep them and maybe perhaps use them, share them, use them in your collage. You'll have them separated by the topic. And again, guys, I'm not saying that all your ephemera, all your little bits are going to fit in folders. I'm not saying that. But you can, at least if you have a little smidgen, like I'm not going to stamp out every stamp in this particular folder that has to do with a place. But because I have a couple places stamped on here, I will remember, it will bring to mind that I have stamps to use. So you can use these folders as just a jumping off point, an inspiration, a start to more creativity. Okay, hey Dana. So stamps, postcards of places you've gone. That kind of goes along with the business cards. Postcards. And then finally, I wanted to just kind of give you an idea of art drop. This goes under the give, share, give and take and share. You can make your list or put them in. I just put it on a little bag because it reminded me of art drop. But you can list places to do art drops. Parks, coffee shop, restaurants, stores, walkways. You can go on and on. I just wanted to give you a start of places that you could leave art drops. Now that when you leave an piece of art, it can just be something as simple as one of, I got a stack here of ones I'm working on, so they're not done. But an art card, an ATC, I would definitely put it in a plastic bag, in one of the little sleeves, the little baggies, before you left it out in the rain or something, so it stays protected. But there's different groups that do art drops. Art Abandonment is one that I'm on Facebook, where you can other people share where they're dropping their art, where they're where people pick it up. So there's, different ones like that. Okay, so that's kind of a wrap up here of the different things for places. Again, you can either combine this with, in a couple of weeks, we're going to do one on travel. Okay, so you can I just want to give you a heads up on that. I distinguish between the places and the travel. Travel is more the general, like the overall travel. Your airline tickets, your train tickets, your tokens, and things that kind of travel. Receipts, that kind of thing to me is more the general travel. This is more specific to the places. Hey, Vicki. Vicki hasn't abandoned any art. Vicki, have you done any art? Now you are coloring, and that's going to be our next segment. So anyway, that is this week's show for the file folder fodder week 4 places, and I just stamped out places there. Got my little museum here. I want to glue this on, but I just wanted to show you, kind of a general idea here. All right, so any questions real quick on the places before I stop this portion of the show? And I'm going to do a separate portion on art doodle, color books and that kind of thing. I'm going to do a specific show on those kind of books. So Jeannie's not here, is she? So it's going to talk about books on the next segment. So if there's no questions on the file folder fodder week 4, and again, Packer Dye is doing, what she can, when she can, decorating more elaborately folders. But you can decorate your folders in whatever medium you're used to using, whether it's collage, just painting, stamping, however you want to decorate them. All right? Rain has lots of art to abandon. Well, you need to get in some of those art abandonment groups, Rain. And yeah. All right, guys. So let me go ahead and stop this recording. Thanks, guys, for being a part of this. If you want to post any of the pictures you're doing on Twitter or Instagram, everybody's been just putting FFF for, or F3 for file folder fodder. Whatever, however you want to do it, or most of us all kind of know each other and say, oh, look at this person's or look at that one's. So anyway, but again, whether you show what you're doing or not, the important thing is for you to have inspiration and some ideas at hand. So all right, guys, well, thanks for watching this, and I will be right back.